I'll just have a cup of coffee, then I'll go. I brought the money like the lawyer said to do. It won't replace all the heartaches I've caused you. It won't take the place of loving you, I know. I'll just have a cup of coffee, then I'll go.
Where's my applause? So welcome back to the channel, Grand Columbia, and welcome to another Coffee Time Live. Beautiful day. It's been a little warm, high 70s. Little humid. It's not the norm, but it has been. And yep, they're coming on now. I have special guests today, but let me go through my initial comments. Let's see. I've got Jerry arrives in 11 days, but who's counting? And I've got Mr. Anonymous contribution before we started. And of course, Yuka from Finland. How you doing? What'd he say? Another NATO. Greetings from NATO, Finland. He said a couple weeks ago. And Mark, good morning from the cold weather in Iowa. And hopefully I'll be in Armenia by the end of next Friday or Saturday. Man, it's coming fast, isn't it? I'll be in contact. Oh, you're one of my best sources of information. Thanks. I'm very grateful I found your channel. Thank you. That's very kind. Oops. Dennis, how you doing in Paraguay? And Rob, I see you made it safely back home. I'll probably talk about this next week. Maybe I can get Rob on next week. He just made a trip for a week or so to Barranquilla, and he took a side trip for 4 or 5 days to Monterrey. I have no idea why he would go to such. Well, he told me why, but it's such of an out of the way backwater place, and it's hot as hell. But it's a very pretty place. Turtle, good morning. How is Bucaramanga treating you? Mike, good morning, Mike. Where's my sausage? Tommy, good morning. Next Level 23. Do I know that one? Are you new? Another good morning from Fort Lauderdale. Juka, greetings from Finland. Yeah, you look bundled up there in that picture. NB90, good morning. Mike Carroll, audio, video, good, awesome, thank you. I'm using the online program. I use it when I'm doing an interview or having a guest, and which I could see you there. They call it the green room, waiting off stage. And I had already paid for it a couple weeks ago, so it's still, the subscription's still running. I figured good time to get it in. Where are we? Don, good morning from Colorado. Good morning from Florida. Good morning from Connecticut. Okay. So before I bring them in, I will introduce them. But before that, those of you who watched last week, certainly off topic, but it's not really, because there's always the question of, will I be able to get such and such? And of course, everything of importance you can, but there's a couple things. It becomes a little more problematic, and some things you can get, but you just need to know how. But I had a craving for root beer, and the cost of root beer, I went over it last week. It was just insane for, what was it, like 30, 40, $50 for a liter. So I wasn't going to do that. But I saw this drink mix thing. They also have the brewing where you can make it at home yourself. And I'll probably do that at some point. But it came. And that's what I got. 6 of these. And it looks like this. So it's filled with the powder. It's sweetened with aspartame, which you could taste a little bit. But you can imagine my expectations were pretty low. I was just craving that flavor. And so far, I've drank 6 of them. I got it 4 days ago. I put it in a bottle. This is just water, but I put it in one of these bottles with carbonated water. And really stupid last night, I put it in and I shook it all up. And then I opened it and it went everywhere. I mean, how stupid does... But anyway, the flavor shocked me. Now, it's been a long time since I had a root beer, but probably a couple years before I even left the United States. I don't drink it that often. I just really had a craving. But I was so surprised, the depth of flavor, how it really had that creamy sense to it. It tasted like a root beer. It was damn good. Now, maybe, if you're doing a side-by-side comparison, I don't know, but it hit the spot. It was really good. So anyway, enough of that. So my guest today is Emil and Jennifer, and they've been on before, and I've talked about their videos before, but they've done a fair amount of traveling since then. And their videos, they've been more consistent with them. I definitely see that the quality is getting better. They're getting more comfortable. They're finding their legs. And I went over the 700 video mark last week. And for whatever reason, it prompted me thinking about them and their videos. I wanted to get them on, talk about their travels, talk about, their experience doing videos. A number of people say that maybe they want to start doing videos, if they move here. And they say, would that bother you? No, more the merrier. I have no problem with it. Which is why I want to bring them on to talk about it. So if you got questions, feel free to throw them in the chat. And this is kind of like the last interview. It's as much for me as anything else. I'm curious how they're doing. So here we go. Ta-da!
Hello, everyone.
Okay, I didn't know if your microphone was working.
Oh, yeah. Everything you can hear is okay?
Yeah, pretty good. So I was scanning through your videos, looking to see if you got to 700 yet.
Not quite there yet.
And I saw that the Argentina video is doing pretty well. I mean, considering you haven't been doing this very long at all, and it flew past the 1,000 view mark, and people that don't do this probably don't realize, but that's damn good in a relatively short period of time. And so I don't know if it was a title, could be, you don't know why people, click on it, but I think there is a fair amount of curiosity about Argentina. What made you think about going there, and just talk about your visit and doing the videos? And
do you want to go ahead?
No, you can go. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, so we had to leave in December because of our visa issues. So we thought, we always wanted to go to Argentina. So then we booked our tickets, and so we went to Argentina, and then we flew into Buenos Aires, and then we decided to go. We were only there for 6 weeks, so we decided to go to Rosario, Cordoba, and then to Iguazu Falls. So it was, we really liked Buenos Aires. We were there the longest. There was so much stuff to do, and I don't know, it was just.
But yeah, I mean, the other thing is it's close proximity. Well, I mean, I guess it's not any closer than, say, the States, but the airfare was favorable, and also
what do you mean favorable?
Well, it was probably one of the cheapest places to go at the moment. So I thought, you know what, why not? Why not? It's somewhere we want to go, and it's.
Well, don't hold back. How much was it?
You know what? I don't remember. I think it was right around $500 for the both of us. One-way ticket, of course, because we didn't know when we were going to be able to come back, if we were going to go back to the States again or what have you. So, but yeah, we got there, and then before arriving, we realized that Argentina was moving up in the ranks for the World Cup, and so we thought, how amazing would that be to be there present, if they were to win. And so it just unfolded just beautifully, and it was just an awesome time.
It was really wild. We were in Cordoba pretty much the whole entire time the World Cup was going on, and all the celebrations. And then when they won, it was just like so crazy. Like, I think like the whole city was out in the streets, just partying it up, and just like, it was crazy.
You couldn't walk around at all. I mean, you were having to push your way. I mean, it's like going to one of the most, with a concert where you're just shoulder to shoulder, and there's no way to get through, but turning sideways a little bit, and it was what an experience it was. I mean, you couldn't stay dry. Beer, everybody was like, taking a bottle of champagne and popping it, and you were getting wet. And then they had those streamers with
crazy string.
You were just full of the crazy string. We didn't put enough footage of all the craziness that was occurring when we were there, but it was
it was really neat to see like how the country like came together with football. I mean, even though all of the like the downtimes of like their currency and all that kind of stuff like that is.
Yeah, the struggle over there is real. I mean,
it's
really neat how, once again, how Colombia and all these Latin countries are just they come together, and for something like soccer or football, it doesn't matter if there's any kind of divide as far as political or anything. It brings them all together, and it's just a great thing to see and to be a part of. So that was great.
Yeah.
So you got a question you might want to answer right now.
Okay.
Where is it?
I'm not noticing that. I'm sorry.
Oh, the name of our channel.
Yep.
The name of our channel is Travel with Life Restored.
Would you like me to post a link to it in the or?
Sure.
Okay.
Sure, you could do that. All right.
But one thing about Argentina, it's like you go there and it's very, I don't know, it's not your typical South American country. Like there's not a lot of like motorcycles all over the place like here. Everybody drives like, pretty normal like the States. It's very European. And and the architecture is beautiful. I mean, if anybody gets a chance to go, I would definitely recommend going.
Well, that's a kind of a running theme
beautiful.
in all of Latin America, is that Argentina is not Latin American, they're European. And they're all stuck up and they all think they're better than everybody else. And, you know, there's YouTube videos that do nothing but bust on Argentina and their arrogance in comedy, you know, so it's.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
But it's the strangest thing. I mean, when we were there, just the humble entrepreneurial mind of so many of them was just great to see. And so I didn't see that firsthand, but I'm not going to say that it doesn't exist, but for us, we didn't see that at all. So, and they were really embracing of, I mean, yeah, it was just nice to be there.
Yeah, they really, you know, if we had a question, you know, they would answer it and they would tell us where to go, you know, because they have the subways, the trains, and stuff like that. So we're like, oh, we want to try, you know, it all. And so we went on the train and we had no idea where we were going, but there was this girl and she like helped us and told us where to go and stuff like that. So it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's just like in Colombia here, you know, if someone notices that you're struggling with the language or whatever, most people, anybody that knows English will stop what they're doing and they'll bend over backwards to make sure that you're taken care of and that you're not being taken advantage of, and you know all the things that go along with, you know, with a tourist, you know, traveling through a new country. So it's just,
I'm from New York, right?
Yes.
And one of the things that in your video is you talk about the city that will never sleep. Now that's actually New York. And there's another thing that we have in common is in New York, people are happy to tell you where to go. Maybe in a different sense.
Yeah.
So I want to play a quick video clip here, if I can find it. There it is. It's not very long, maybe a minute, and let's check this out.
Today we are taking you to a place the whole family will enjoy. How about some mini golf, everyone? Buenos Aires is known as the city that never sleeps, and it is the capital of Argentina. We spent 2.5 weeks in this fun city, with its colorful streets, beautiful gardens, and unforgettable architecture. Here are some things we think you should do while in Buenos Aires. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we are taking you on a road trip to the smallest town in Quindío. This is Buena Vista.
That was really cool.
Thank you.
They've gotten so much better. And so you've done something different with the camera, because it used to jerk around a lot, and now you're getting.
I think that some of those were with my cell phone, because I didn't have the actual camera with me at the time. So I think that's
exactly.
what it was.
So at least there's some footage, even as bad as it may have been. At least that we thought to ourselves, well, at least we'll put the footage out there, and hopefully people don't get too frustrated with us. You know.
Yeah.
Cell phones are actually the best camera when you're traveling, because you can slip it in out of your pocket. But the problem is you've got to have a really high end to get the right kind of camera.
Yeah.
And if you get kind of middle of the road, it just doesn't cut it.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's missing that stabilizer is what's key. You know.
Well, a high end camera will have that built in, and it works really well. which country do they prefer to retire in, Colombia or Argentina?
Colombia.
Yeah, definitely Colombia. Yeah, I mean, things are just more stable here as far as, you know, the currency and but
The weather.
the weather here in
is-
Armenia is yeah, exactly,
much better.
much
Because
better.
it was really hot when we were there.
Yeah, it was almost like Arizona, Phoenix, Arizona type weather where, you know, it's like, that's what we were trying to get away from, you know? So I mean, and I know that's very brief, but
It also gets really cold there too. So
exactly. So there's sweet spots. I mean, there's sweet spots of the year that, you know, just like the States, you know, you don't want to be in most of the country. Well, how do I put that? There are parts of the country you don't want to be in during, say, the winter and something like
certain
that.
parts of the time.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, but, you know, of course, you know, San Diego is the most similar. It seems to me that San Diego is about the most similar to the weather we have here. And where are you going to get that, you know, the cost of living that we have in comparison to San Diego? I mean, it's yeah.
I'll be glad when La Nina completely goes away. I love rain, but it keeps intruding on my schedule. It's, you know, it comes in the early afternoon instead of late and in the evening, and it's been kind of crazy.
Yeah, exactly. It's been pretty intense. I mean, we've had some showers here that have been, you know, like I say, intense, and they go on for a few hours, and that's not typical.
And
you
all
know,
the thunder and lightning.
Yeah. So
well, I love that. I love that part.
Yeah.
Now it just took out a bridge. It just took out a bridge that wasn't that old. It was a relatively new bridge that goes from Calca to Quindío.
Yeah.
And took a truck and a couple cars with it.
I from what I understand, there was 2 fatalities. I think they were just police officers, right?
They might have been on motorcycles.
Maybe on a motorcycle or something. I mean, that was
horrible.
Horrible. But I mean, to think of all the people that were on that bridge and only 2 fatalities. So that was. You
mean motorcycles?
Yeah.
Motos.
Yeah.
No, morto, dead.
Yeah.
Everybody dies on the motos.
Oh
exactly.
Yeah. But the craziest thing is
we were on that bridge not long before it collapsed. So that was the crazy
Friday
thing.
before.
Yeah. So we were looking at that. We were thinking, wow. So yeah.
Yeah, they say it was the force of the water that took it out.
Oh, wow. Huh.
Well, I think it was constructed in 1984, and so
it was a relatively new bridge. They went through a few years ago because they were having too many bridges collapse because it's tough around here, and they had this massive throughout the country, throughout the Andes in particular, bridge replacements, and that was one of them that was replaced. Well, relatively recently. If you look at the videos or the photos of it, you could see all the metal, everything that was in good shape. It's not like it was rusty or, you know, they took good care of it, but it's gone. Yeah. I think maybe they fatigue over time when you get a lot of water beating against it. Now you got another question up.
Oh yeah. Hey, Mike. So yeah, the Argentinian beef was amazing.
Oh yeah.
Great stuff. We actually kind of shifted our whole way of eating while we were there, and it kind of snowballed into I don't know. You know, it's kind of strange. I wasn't really going to mention this because it's kind of controversial, but we started a carnivore diet, which is basically, you know, you basically eat anything that comes from an animal, and that is it. No carbs, no sugars, and it's done very well for us. But yeah, to answer your question, Argentinian beef is amazing, and of course here too. Nice. You know, we like to go to Boludos, and just a great place to have some good steak. And so, yeah, Very, very good.
There's another place that's it's a little more traditional and the price is better. Have you ever been to Lomo Beach? It's right across the street from La Fogata, right on the corner, and it's quite good. You can go there and you get your typical almuerzos, but on the menu you've got various steaks and things like that. It's quite good.
Is it on the same side as where they have that little Chinese restaurant?
No, it's across the street.
Side? Or it's on the other side?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay, yeah, we'll check it out.
Try it out, yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, I noticed in your videos, also Mike says he loves staying in your apartment. Great views.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Yeah, we love this place. I mean, it's such a struggle to find a good place when you're out traveling, something with views and
well, you never know it's hit and miss how the food's going to be.
Yeah.
There you go.
I mean, it's the same. It's the same everywhere, until you get to know the place and you get your favorites. Here, it's difficult. If you hit a new place, you have no idea if it's going to suck or if it's going to be awesome, because there's such a variation in the quality. And once you find good places, then you kind of end up sticking with them, because you don't want to go to a place and feel like you just wasted your money.
Right.
And also, you can get U.S. Angus, you can get Argentinian beef, you can get good Colombian beef, or you can get shoe leather, and that's also, you don't know, you just don't. It's a gamble. We got another one here. Did you get double the exchange rate for your dollar via the black market in Argentina?
We did. We basically all the money that we withdrew we sent to ourselves through Western Union, and so we basically did get double the currency. I think Western Union was maybe a 10%. I think they took about 10% of, so it was basically 90%. But yeah, and that's what made the vacation or the time there, even though it wasn't as affordable as here in Colombia, it
made it a lot closer. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the dollar is kind of free falling all around the world right now.
Sure.
And it's dropped off here. Well, just in the last couple of weeks, it's cost me a couple $100 a month.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to miss that. But I look at it as, when it was up there that high, I saw it as windfall. I got a few extra things that normally I wouldn't do, because it was like free money. But everything about my life is actually scheduled more towards 3,800. So I'm okay. But it's down. Well, last night I looked, it was 48.12 or 44.12.
Yeah, it's definitely cratered quite a bit from its high.
Yeah.
So
yeah, such is life. If the U.S. get their act together, it'd make my life a lot easier.
Yeah, very, very true. Yeah, we definitely agree.
It's pretty much self-inflicted. It's like, it doesn't have to be this way.
Yeah, right.
So you've been traveling a lot inside Colombia also. You got Bucaramanga, a few places here in Quindío. Where else have you gone? You went to didn't you go to a desert?
Well, yeah, but I was going to say, if you don't mind that we back up a little bit for the people that haven't seen or heard our story or anything like that, is it okay to kind of back up and start from the beginning, quickly?
So
of course, we're both from the U.S., And so we've been here in Armenia for off and on for 2.5 years. Of course, we've dealt with some issues as far as our visa and stuff. And but during the time we were raising our children, we traveled all through the U.S. And then of course in 2010 we finally decided to get our passports, and we went to the Bahamas, the St. Thomas, St. Martin area. And then in 2013 went to Puerto Rico. 2015 we went to Hawaii, and later in the year went to Costa Rica. 2018 we took a cruise to Mexico, Portugal. And then the main reason for our trip to Portugal was the Azores Islands. Beautiful islands. I think there's 9 islands. It's basically the European Hawaii, exactly. And then of course we had to do mainland Portugal. We spent a good amount of time in Lisbon. Then we went over to Spain and Madrid, did flamenco shows and all that kind of stuff. Very, very nice. In 2019, we went to, we came here to Colombia, went to Medellin and all the surrounding areas, Guatapé, Jardín, and then went to Bogota and the surrounding areas. We made a friend in Spain from Bogota. So they said, you have to come to Bogota. We'll show you around. We'll keep you safe. And they did just that. Amazing time there.
Yes.
But, I wouldn't go by myself, or, with just Jennifer and I wouldn't think of going back to Bogota. Just
you need to know where to go. That's the thing.
Exactly.
So, there's parts of it that are completely safe, but there's parts of it that you really don't want to set foot in.
Exactly. So then in the end of 2020, we decided to travel full time. So we both quit our jobs, and we sold everything. And then in January of 2021, we arrived back here in Colombia. And of course we had been following you for a while. And so we thought, well, you know what, why not we just start it off with Armenia? So when we got here, in Quindío, we traveled all through Quindío and Calacá, Circassia, Finlandia, Salento, Buenavista, Pijao, Cordoba.
You had somebody with a car to drive you around, right?
Yeah, we have friends that were driving us all around, and so even we went outside of Quindío. We went to Manizales, Pereira, a place.
We took the trip to San Cipriano, which was it was fun. It was definitely an experience.
Yeah, it's pretty close to Buenaventura, and so it's a little bit hot and humid, because you're getting close to the coast there. But and then of course we went to your favorite place of all, Cali. So. No
response.
No response. Okay, good. So once again, we had to leave because of visa issues, and so we left in July of 21, and we went back to the States, and we decided to do some travel to Mexico. Went to Guadalajara, Ajijic, Guanajuato, Mexico City, and then we went back to the States for the holidays. And in January, we decided, and we love Mexico, so we decided to go back again. Traveled for another 2.5 months in Mexico. We went to Guaymas, Los Mochis,
Mazatlan, Durango, San Luis Potosí, Puebla. The best food, by the way, in Puebla. Oh yes,
was hands down. It was just a great experience. But like
Oaxaca,
you said,
which was very good food too.
Yeah, and the weather there is amazing.
Yeah, Los Elias, which is like north of Puerto Vallarta. It's like a little.
Yeah, it's between Mazatlan and Puerto Vallarta, and it's a great beach town. That's very, very affordable, affordable. And it doesn't have a lot. Well, I'm not going to say it doesn't
have a lot of people there either.
Exactly. But anyways, so then went back to the States again. Our son got married in the area of the Zion National Park. So that was beautiful. Great time. Then we came back in June of 2022. And of course, you gave us a hard time for bringing so much luggage back. But we wanted to bring a lot of the stuff that we missed from the States. So,
I had to rent a moving van.
Exactly. So then, of course, we we came back here, went to Santa Rosa de Cabal.
Yes.
Pueblo Tapao. We went and visited Mike. Of course, he always opens up his place and allows us to enjoy the beautiful view he has.
Isn't that amazing?
It's amazing, amazing. Then we went to, of course, as you mentioned, we went to Bucaramanga and all the surrounding areas, including the Chicamocha Canyon.
Yeah, which was very beautiful.
That was great, great. And then, of course, we went to Tatacoa Desert. Spent a few days there. Pretty hot. Pretty hot.
Yeah, well, it's a desert.
Yeah.
What possessed you to go to Buenaventura?
Oh,
Well,
the first time we just wanted to go for the San Cipriano. San Cipriano is big waterfalls and just a nice hike. We went with this guy. What was his name? Yvonne. And
he has Hiking Colombia. So if you look at Hiking Colombia on either Instagram or Facebook, they do a lot of like little either day trips or they'll do like weekend trips and stuff like that all over Colombia. So it's pretty neat. Yeah,
and he's a great tour guide, very affordable.
Oh yes.
And very well versed. I mean, as far as he knows every little nook and cranny of Colombia for these hikes and stuff. And so it's great. It's never a dull moment with Yvonne. But then in December of 22, at the end, that's when we went to Argentina and all that. And then of course, when we got back we found out that we finally got our visa approved at the very tail end of December, like one of the last days Colombia could have allowed us to get our visa. If they would have let the first of the year come through, we wouldn't have met the requirements for the dollar amount that we had invested to get our investor visa. So thank God for that, But when we got back, we've been to went to what is the place called? Caicedonia, which is another little town. I don't know if it's part of.
It's not part of Quindío.
No, it's not part of Quindío.
Yeah, it's Quindío.
Is it?
Oh.
Okay. And then we went out to Buenaventura again.
It's a nice little town. I've only been through it a few times. I always wanted to go back and do a video because it's a little different. The layout's different than what your typical town is.
Yeah, definitely.
And then the holiday weekend, which was a couple weeks ago, we went to Buenaventura.
And
it was pretty cool. And we went to Buenaventura, and then we went to the islands. We went to Huanchaco.
It's a pretty dangerous place.
Well, yeah, you can tell. You can really tell.
You got to be very careful there.
Yeah.
But we didn't stay in Buenaventura. We hopped on a little like jet boat thing, and then we went to the islands.
Yeah.
Huanchaco and I don't know how to say
Ladrilleros. I think that's how you say it.
Yeah.
So you did the touristy thing. Well, that's good. That's okay.
Yeah. No,
I recommend
the
going.
city.
The water temperature is like bath water, and the sands are kind of like almost reminded me of Veracruz, kind of black sand, and so we had a really good time.
Yeah, it was fun.
And of course, here soon we're going to go back to the Tatacoa Desert because we're wanting to see the Milky Way.
Yeah.
That trip's coming up.
Okay. Everybody's jumping on me here. I was wrong. It's not in Quindío. I could have sworn it was, but apparently it's not.
Oh, yeah,
so duly noted.
Okay. I guess.
Okay. I got it. I take my lumps.
Oh yeah. It's the same.
So now the big question.
What's the big question?
What's your favorite places? And if you could rank them in order.
In Colombia?
In Colombia.
Oh boy. Well,
of course, Armenia
makes the top. I mean, there's no doubt about that.
I'd say Bucaramanga.
Bucaramanga was
I
very,
really like Bucaramanga.
Yeah,
It's
that
a
was a
surprising city, isn't it? I mean, there's so many high rises. It's crazy.
yeah, the high rises are just amazing, and yeah, the affluent are just everywhere there. I mean, the high end cars, it's crazy. I mean, the level of, I mean, you can be in the mood for any kind of food whatsoever. I mean, Lebanese, Chinese, I mean, it doesn't matter. Sky's the limit when it comes to the food there. And
they have
it's all
they have
really
a lot
good.
of pizza places, but
Oh,
I
yeah.
hate to say this,
But
none
it's
of
all
them are
bad
very
pizza.
Yeah,
Well,
it's
Well,
horrible.
we talked about that. You were part of a video where pizza in Colombia sucks.
It does.
I mean, there's
it
no other
does.
way to say it. It's just bad. It's
Yeah.
hard to find decent pizza places. And when you say Domino's and Papa John's the best pizza in town, that's sad.
Yeah, it is pretty sad.
Yeah, but
It is
that's
pretty-
the
the truth.
Yeah, that's the sad truth. Exactly. So yeah. So as far as ranking the other cities and stuff that we've been to, I mean, we really did like Manizales as well because of all the food and the you know what though, I really like Medellin. I just don't like the it's just so crowded and the traffic is horrendous. And as was Bogota, the traffic and the fumes and you just can't get into but well, I'll say so far, Cali was the worst we've been.
Yeah.
So we definitely agree with you. It's
Surprise,
dirty.
surprise.
Yeah, it's so dirty. People. I don't know how to explain it. I mean, they don't
Yeah.
have the class that they have in these other cities.
That's a good way to say it. That's a nice
Yeah.
way to say it. A
Yeah.
bunch of dirt bags.
And so for all those that are in Colombia or like Colombia, my apologies, but that's just my take on it. You know?
What'd you think of Manizales?
We were there only for a weekend, but I think that we're planning on going back because we want to spend more time. But from what we saw, like, yeah, we really liked it. It was nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a very walkable city if you're into hills, you know. But it's good. It's good. Yeah,
Well,
we enjoyed this.
23, you can walk from end to end, and it's relatively flat.
Yeah.
You know, I lived on 23, and that's where I walked. The hell with going to, I mean, every once in a while, I dove off the cliff to get to the next street, but usually I was on 23. Did you get to Milan, where the crescent of restaurants are?
I don't know.
No,
I don't
we
know.
didn't.
A friend of ours, they took us, and I honestly don't even know what part of Manizales we were at. Or
Well, it was on the opposite side. We did kind of touch in that general area, but so briefly. We didn't go to any of the restaurants or anything.
we
So
did go downtown.
we're not able to form a good opinion of anything.
The nicest part of Manizales is the eastern half, the part where you barely went to.
Right.
That's
exactly.
actually the nicest part of Manizales. And the thing about Milan, the barrio Milan, it's this crescent shape, and it's like restaurant row, and they're large restaurants, and most of them have this amazing view. And the food is, I've yet to go to one of those restaurants where the food wasn't really good. It's refreshing because they know what good food is, and you can get, as you were saying, there you can also get Middle Eastern or Japanese or Chinese or steak restaurants. Mexican is a really good Mexican restaurant there.
That's tough to find.
Yeah.
Yeah, Milan is awesome, and there is parking in Milan. I've always been able to park there. Right on the street, there'll be a guy that, you give him a couple thousand pesos and he'll watch your car for you. Chinese food is terrible in Colombia. I agree, because the Chinese food in Colombia, in most places, is just Colombian food. It's just best pizza place I've eaten in Colombia is a small joint called Michelle's or Michele's, or I don't know the pronunciation, located in Bolivar, northern part of Cauca. There's some good pizza. But if you go to 100, you might find 3.
Yeah.
The place next to Beluto's is actually quite good. It's more authentic Italian style. You know where I'm talking about? I forget the name, but it's right there.
Is it in the same like little?
Yeah, as you're walking into Beluto's, it's on the
right-hand side.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we've seen it, but we've kind of given up on pizza here. So, you know,
that pizza's really good. You would that would be kind of a oven fired pizza that you could get in the US or in Europe, or it's quite good.
So there's another
the problem
pizza.
is you hit so many before you find one that's good.
Yeah, right, exactly. Well, we did a video on the wine market.
Yeah, and
Vinsantos, and actually we went back there and had their pizza, and actually very good pizza. And so you know, the crust is nice and crunchy. I'm not going to say crunchy, but just really good consistency. Tasted great, and yeah, just was a good pizza. So so if you haven't had a chance to check out that video, if anybody
I did.
Yeah,
it made me want to go there. It's on my list.
Okay, great. The wine is great too. The wine is good. We've had several of their wines, and they have a lot of different tapas. And
well, my budget's different than yours, and wine tends to be expensive in restaurant. It's cheap to buy in the store. That same bottle in a restaurant is pretty, pricey. But the food looked interesting. The place looked interesting. And I noticed you hit up a number of business owners that are English speakers.
Yes.
So that's how do you know where they are?
So what I did is I thought about it for a while, and I was like, oh, well, we're going to stay in Armenia for a while. I'm like, let's just try to, showcase Armenia and like the different stuff that you can go to around here and stuff. So I put an ad out on all the little expat things on Facebook. And I actually got a lot of people who were like, yeah, come see us, and stuff like that. So that's how it started.
We got the ball rolling that way. So yeah, it was very nice. Very good thought.
Very good.
Yeah.
In Circassia is a guy that a lot of people know him. His Facebook name is Tom.
Wow, we met him.
Yes, we met him when we were in Circassia, a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, it's only been about 2 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a funny guy.
Did you eat in his restaurant?
No, we didn't have a chance to eat there.
I went twice, and both times turned out he wasn't in town.
Yeah, that's a bummer because he's a good guy, funny guy.
Yeah.
And he
I wanted his peanut butter cookies, but he didn't have any at the time, so I was like, oh.
Yeah.
Let's see. Jeff says in 2 weeks he'll be going to Cali for 3 days. Good for you.
Yeah.
One of the funniest things that ever happened on YouTube for me personally was, you remember Marshall Powell?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, he was in Cartagena for a while. He would go to different places and stay a few weeks, a few months. And so he was going to do that in Cali. He went to Cali. He was so shocked of what he ran into, he left the next day. I wasn't surprised.
Wasn't he also there when like all the protests were going down and stuff like that?
That was he went back just for a day trip. But his first time when he was planning to stay there for a period of time, he bailed. But when he returned to Colombia, he went. Well, he might have been there for a couple of days. He went back to give it another shot because he was told that where he was planning to go was like the pits of hell, and it was. And there's a lot of that in Cali. And he went to a different area. And you're right. That's when the protests broke out. He actually watched the start of that whole thing. He's got it on video. There's some good pizza places that my wife has taken me in Barranquilla. Like I said, there's good pizza. It's hard to find.
It's very hard.
The odds of finding it are not that high. Volcano, he's talking about Manizales.
Yeah.
And no parking. Yes, parking. I never had any problem. What happened to Pizza Alme? Inflation basically put her out of business, ran her broke. Food generally doesn't have flavor in Colombia. Yes and no. You know, it depends. If you know where to go, you can get great food.
Yeah.
And it's knowing where to go is really the thing.
And
it doesn't have to be high end. For example, one of my favorite places is what is it? Chorizo de Esquina. The name of the place is Chorizo's on the corner, and it's all homemade empanadas and chorizos. Everything is. You can go there early before they open and watch them making everything, because I've done that, and it is so good. Chorizos used to be amazing here, and now 9 times out of 10, it's like it's just a little sausage. But if you get the really good original chorizos, it's a whole different level. And you go to that place and then you say, oh my God, that's why chorizos are popular. Not because of the ones they throw on your bandeja paisa, nasty little sausages.
Right.
Let's see. Good Mexican food so far is impossible to find.
Very true.
You live in the middle of nowhere, but yeah, it's a modified Mexican. I run into decent occasionally, depending on what you're after. But it's not Oaxaca.
Yeah. Or Sonoran.
Yeah, the Sonoran.
Tom is closing his restaurant. It's for sale.
Huh.
I guess I'll never get to go.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
At least I'm following up in Cali with 7 days in Armenia. I love Armenia. So kind of like a palate cleanser.
Yeah. Right.
It's definitely night and day.
Okay, well, we're running towards the end, so we got about 5 minutes. If you want to, anything that you didn't say yet, I appreciate what you're doing with the videos. I really appreciate how fast they're getting better, and I'd like to see them really catch on, because I don't have a chance of ever getting mine monetized, but you could, and it would be nice in a couple of years if it actually became an income stream.
Yeah.
And I think they're worth it. You're really covering things of interest that I appreciate.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, when we hope that people will share our content and get it out there, and help we'll get some more subscribers.
Like, comment, and subscribe.
Exactly. But also, if you have any friends that are beginning to travel, and we're gonna continue to try to work on getting that content, like you say, like better content that's just gonna be I don't know, what do you think?
I say keep doing what you're doing. You're really hitting it. And
Yeah.
Thank you.
and we'll
Yeah,
talk
we really
about
wanted to see
we'll talk
people-
about how you get your merch going.
There we go. There we go.
Yeah, well, I mean, we really want
I
to
got a
see
mug and you don't.
someday.
Yeah.
Well, we really wanted to, because our channel is mostly Colombia. I mean, there's some of the Argentina stuff because we didn't start our channel until it's only been what, 6 months or something like that. So a lot of it is Colombia. But I mean, we really wanted to show people how, great Colombia is. And it still sometimes has a bad rap and stuff like that, but we just wanted to show them it's not what everybody says it is.
Yeah,
And then-
when you get out and travel around, you realize quickly that it really is like everywhere else. The problems are in isolated areas, places that for the most part you generally wouldn't go. Buenaventura might be an exception, but most of Colombia is very safe, problem-free. You got to watch out for pickpockets here and there, depending on where you are. But name a city in the U.S. where that isn't a possibility.
What we also want.
People
think
live on the information from the 80s, and it's not the 80s anymore.
Right. Yeah. But what we also wanted to mention is that just comment on the channel. Any questions you have, if you want to, on the about section of the web of the channel, if you want to look at the website, I'm sorry, the email address, ask us questions about anything, and we'd love to help in any way, help you plan a trip or help in any way.
Give you some advice.
Exactly. These different places. I mean, if you're interested in Mexico, we've been to quite a few areas.
Pretty much the whole country.
Well, yeah.
Except for we haven't been to the Yucatan.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
I
Sunday.
personally enjoy travel with life restored videos. Keep up the great content.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I'll
Thank
be in
you.
a coffee triangle in early June. That's Gil.
Awesome.
Okay.
Awesome.
Well, I think we're going to end it here. I want to thank you for coming on. A lot of interesting stuff.
Yeah.
And I appreciate the videos. We'll take one last comment here. People from America, where there is school mass shootings every week, want to know if Colombia is safe. Well, Colombia also doesn't have, one of the third largest population in the world or something. The U.S. is 350 million people or something. So the odds of things happening here, population, it's less than 80 million. It makes a difference.
Yeah.
But, everything is so sensationalized in the U.S. And because they sensationalize it, it tends to create copycats. So, again, a lot of self-inflicted wounds up there.
Exactly.
Okay. Well,
we also want to thank you for having us on your channel. We thank you for all the content that you provide, and these lives are just
Great.
Yeah, exactly. Great info to always have, and we like to return on the weekly for all that. So thanks again.
okay. We'll see you later.
Okay.
Take care.
Bye.
And everybody else, I'll see you next week. And thanks for the contributions. I appreciate it.
Put it on there. I don't know if it didn't show up though. So we just kind